All praise to Yahweh Bashim, Yahweh Bashim Yahushua, Wahakudashukah. Double honors to the apostles and the elders over at the Great Millstone, who I believe to be the true elders of Yahshua Allah. Peace and blessings to you, and to you teaching this truth and this sincerity across the four corners of the earth you've been, or we have been scattered to. I say peace and blessings to as well. Shalom Rabarakim Laha Aman Bakiyar, which is to say peace and blessings to the faithful elect, and to you awakening currently due to the state we're in, the conditions, right, of the Israelite nation, which consists of you so-called blacks, aka Negroes, so-called Latinos, and so-called Native American Indians. When you do the history, to you I say peace and blessings as well. If you are diligently and hastily in fear, like your life depends on it, attending to this, all right? This your brother Shariat Nawasai Shaman, and quick article, quick watch and warn. It says, wave of evictions expected as moratoriums end in many states. This just came out today. And that word moratorium is just pretty much a technical word for the legal ban of people being evicted from their homes, which was stopping that due to the coronavirus is now about to be no more. Right? You got certain governors of different states who extended theirs, and now the inevitable time is coming. You know, as they say in the world, it's time to pay the piper, you know, and it's time to pay your landlords. So, you know, the saying goes, the money makes the world go round, etc. If no one's making money, hey, you use the money to obtain and to hold on to certain things. So once the money's no more, then what? Well, for us that believe in this truth, we're going to endure forever. There's Yahweh. All right? And of him, from him is all of this coming and stemming from. Because America is written to be destroyed. 2/3 of you the so-called blacks, so-called Latinos, and so-called Native American Indians, which are all so-called black, but you're written to be destroyed because they're actually the Israelites. You're actually the Israelites, the biblical Israelites, who just can't seem to figure this out, you know, due to higher reasons, but ultimately because you're just of the wicked, pretty much. So that's why this is serious, and this is on the AP News company notification I got, and this has been coming out for a while now. So as you can see, the face that they have on this is a so-called black woman. Her name's Natasha Blunt. You know, and that's just ironic because, you know, all of this is in the scriptures. Let's see. The Lord said he was going to do this. He said he was going to scatter us to these places, and we're going to be mocked. That's pretty much what's going on, man. And it's due to you believing and watching, turning from the Lord, just not turning back from the Lord, being put away from your power due to the witchcraft aka the influence of the so-called white man, a place that you thought could never end, you thought was perfect, you thought was right due to the education and the certain philosophies, certain outlooks, philosophical ways, outlooks on life you thought were right, and it is actually causing more of your hurt, your harm. So what the Father's done, well, he's sent out, man, he's put the information out here, but only those chosen are going to receive it. Okay. Now, with that being said, this is the so-called white man uh, mocking you Israelites, you so-called blacks, aka Negroes, you know, so-called Latinos, so-called Native American Indians, all the same people, the Israelites. You're being mocked like the Lord promised. Natasha Blunt poses for a portrait in New Orleans, but she's crying, and they're using it for your affliction, because these people hate you. It says in New Orleans, Friday, July 31st, 2020, Blunt owes thousands of dollars in back rent after she lost her banquet porter job. She has yet to receive her stimulus check and has not been approved for unemployment benefits. Her family is getting by with food stamps and the charity of neighbors. You know, because actually, this is not a lesson. This is like I said, this is a quick watch and warn. So a bunch of people about to get put out their house, man, their homes, as the Lord promised. You know, and it's for the work of your own hands. Regardless if you realize it or not. If I can get this bag out. Now it's closed out. But anyway, when you go into that app, Salaki, when you go into when you go into that article, because I've lost it now. Pretty much, it's talking about the so-called Hondurans as well, so-called Latinos. A woman by the name of Nancy Yanez, I believe, and there's just further proof. So-called blacks, Latinos are the face of the evictions that's getting ready to come up. Now, with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to get this first scripture. Let's keep this quick. So I didn't get a chance to read the article, but it's all good. You can go look it up. This is Jeremiah, who was a prophet of the Israelite nation, so-called black man. Jeremiah 24 and 9, I'm going to start at. It says, "And I will deliver them to be removed into all the kingdoms of the earth for their hurt, to be a reproach and a proverb and a taunt." Salakia, a taunt and a curse in all places whither I shall drive them. So it don't matter if you're all the way in Honduras, if you're in New Orleans, man. It don't matter if you're in Washington, D.C. The Lord said he was going to remove us, or in Australia, he said he's going to remove us into all the kingdoms of the earth for our own hurt, to be a reproach and a proverb. An old saying, you know, all the Mexicans taking our job, niggas is lazy, etc. A taunt. Natasha Blunt, perfect name, and she's posing, crying, and they use that as an image for people who are a widespread of people that's getting ready, a massive number. The numbers is like off the charts, the numbers they actually reported. If I could get the article back up, I will. If not, I have another one. It says a taunt and a curse. So that's a taunt, and then you're already cursed. It says, "In all places whether I shall drive them, and I will send the sword, And Salaki, the famine. What's famine? Being without being without what you need. You know, let's just prove it. And that's your home. You know, that's a roof over your head. That's famine, man. So you got to actually go into this thing. It's not just because the Lord constantly says that don't mean it's simple. That don't mean it's gonna play out with a comma, one word, and a period. That's how it's gonna appear. No, it's much deeper. That's why. That's all. That's why. That's all he had to say. He had to say, Ra'ai. He said he's gonna send the sword, which is a killing instrument. It don't have to be a physical sword. It's not a ladder. Famine. Famine is hunger. It says in land, nation, hunger of individuals. Right? It says dearth, famine, famished, hunger, more or less extensive. So it's just not pinpointed to not being able to eat food. Famine can be in the sense of whatever you need. It says famine, whether of hunger, famine, whether of individuals. It says or of entire provinces, scarcity of grain. You know, but you need food, right? So you need a home. You don't need a certain one, but you need one. Because the Lord Yahushua, who people call Jesus, he didn't have a certain one, but he had somewhere to lay his head. A lot of you people not finna have nowhere to lay your head, you so-called blacks, like Native American, Indians, and Latinos. Now this is on the Bloomberg. It says Trump says he may act to stop evictions amid virus aid talks. So here's the so-called white man playing like he's the almighty himself. Once again, it says Bloomberg President Donald Trump said Monday he may take action to impose a moratorium on evictions. And we're just gonna get that word for moratorium real quick, just so you can see it. It's just an authoritative legal ban against something, pretty much a temporary prohibition. Prohibitions. I can't even say it. It's basically prohibiting an activity, and the activity will be people getting put out their homes for not being able to pay their rent, regardless of any reason. Regardless what's the reason. When you can't pay, hey, you know. But that's how you know this thing is set up too, because since when do it's, you know, people lose their homes due to illnesses and sicknesses? Why haven't they always had that in place? A situation like that for a place. It's like if you could prove you were sick or you had a certain reason for why you couldn't pay or whatever, why, if we're also about being good Samaritans and all of this other stuff, why hasn't something like this always been in place? You want to know why? Because this is fear tactics. This is winning you over. And this is the very thing and the very state that they need the so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native American Indians is in, because it's ultimately going to bring more destruction for you, which is what the so-called whites and the rest of these heathens want. But more so the so-called white man. Everybody just follows him, right? Not the rest of the nations that are not of the Israelite nation. So-called white man hates you. He's the Edomite, right? Embargo, ban, prohibition, suspension, postponement, stay, stoppage, halt, freeze, standstill, respite, hiatus, delay, deferment, deferral, adjournment, a legal authorization to debtors to postpone payment. So that already has been going on, and it's only so much longer that could continue, because all the debt collectors, hence landlords, they receive the money from you so they can stay in their stuff, so they can keep their lifestyle going and be able to afford their expenses. So here you have a so-called white man who's behind all of this, and the devil himself, he's a serpent trying to fool you and bamboozle you to make you believe that he's some savior and he's for you when he's actually setting all this up in the first place. Alright, get this video real quick. Hear what he says. Lord willing.
People don't want to do that because we don't think it's right.
So here, so the so-called white man, he's righteous now, right? So it's if you continue to fall for this, you will be destroyed. You will go to the famine. You will go to the pestilence, right? We're perfectly in a time.
The Democrats have run some very bad states and some very, very bad cities, and a lot of people don't want to give.
So it's buffering, and we're not gonna sit here through it. So here he is trying to cast the blame on the so-called political parties and all this other stuff. So President Donald Trump said Monday he may take executive action, like he's in charge, to impose a moratorium on evictions and to enact a payroll tax holiday, with talks on a new virus relief plan making slow progress in Congress. The only reason when they go on and pass these certain things is to bring more mischief. It's because they're working on other mischief. The Bible tells you this. It says the White House is also exploring. It tells you so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native American Indians this, man. You so-called, and all you're black, so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native American Indians. You're all the same people. It tells us Israelites this. It says the White House is, and exposes this. It says the White House is also exploring whether the president can act on his own to extend and enhance unemployment insurance payments, which he can't. That permanent and to extend enhance unemployment insurance payments that, like an eviction moratorium, were part of stimulus legislation enacted in March, but now have expired. That's in March, man. You know what I'm saying? It says they're not interested in unemployment. They're not interested in evictions, which is a big deal. Trump said of Democrats in remarks to reporters at the White House, people are going to be evicted, but I'm going to stop it because I'll do it I'll do it myself if I have to. So this is why you so-called black, you so-called Negroes, so-called Latinos, and so-called Native American Indians are okay with the so-called Savior Jesus Christ, whose name is not Jesus Christ, being okay. It's okay for him to be portrayed to as a so-called white man, because the so-called white man has put in your face, he fights all your battles, he feeds you, he's the reason why, So with that being said, let's go ahead and get into it. There's nothing more to say. This is Iraq, and I'm gonna start at 12. I was gonna start at 13. You know what? Let me start at 11. It says, Sirach and Apocrypha, the removed books of the Bible, the removed scriptures, so-called white man want to keep from you. Sirach 11 and 14, prosperity and adversity, life and death, poverty and riches come of the Lord. But the so-called white man got you thinking a concept called Democrats is what's causing this. No. Sirach 11 and 14, prosperity and adversity, life and death, poverty and riches come of the Lord. Right? So that's that, man. All right? Now this is 12. So he's a liar. That's why he's the devil. That's why we call him the devil. Sirach, you don't never hear these politicians reference scriptures. But when you go into their own laws, they say that America was built off the scriptures. They swear on Bibles, but no, they never read them in court. They never read them. It's because that's the front. That's how a devil. That's deception. The devil just goes into the deceiver, man. Right? It's a difference between devil and Satan. But Satan is a spiritual. He's a spiritual prince, ruler of the left hand side, the balance, the evil side of Yahweh's balance, which is the opposing force to the righteous side. And it's the balance that who you call God has created. So Satan is over wickedness, and he works primarily through the so-called white man, and that's why the so-called white man deceives on the level he does, because he is in fact the devil, man. It's Iraq 12 and 13. Who will pity a charmer that is bitten with a serpent? Who pitied the so-called crocodile hunter when he finally got his ass killed by a stingray, man? Here you are in the face of a rattlesnake playing with it, trying to get it to do this and do that. Who will pity a charmer that is bitten with a serpent, or any such as come nigh wild beasts? So if you put your head, you slapping lions, you in the wood, you in the habitation of a lion, slapping them, playing with them, and they just, you know how lions lay back, whatever, and then you get them to open their mouth, you put your head in their mouth, and then you laughing at your guys that's taking pictures, and he you take his head out his mouth, your head out of his mouth, and then you put it back in, then you take it back out again, you like, okay guys, get one more, you put it back in, he finally bites your damn head off. Who's gonna pity that guy with some sense? That's you playing with the so-called white man and feeding into his deception, man. How is Trump gonna do it? He gonna take it in his own. That's not even how it even works. This dude only vetoes what the Congress, what the House and the Senate comes up with, man. Things that are supposed to be in agreement with the affairs of their own citizens. But these people are not for you, man. They have someone they answer to, and that's the elite bankers. But that's going farther than we even need to go. Look up the word treason. They're destroying the place they supposedly are financing, protecting, and for. Why? Because they're the devil. Why? And there's more devilish acts this dude gonna do, as it tells us in Revelation, which means to reveal. Revelation 12 and 12, therefore rejoice ye heavens and ye that dwell in them. The people up in the sky, the angels. It says, woe to the inhabitants of the earth, those that are down here on the land, and of the sea, right? And the seas goes into, the nations. Where do the nations dwell at? On the earth. It tell you that right in the 17th chapter and the 15th verse of the same book, Revelations. It says, for the devil is come down unto you, having great wrath, the deceiver, because he knoweth that he hath but a short time. So that's why they postponing things, because they trying to bring a chip, and they want to see you so-called blacks, all of you so-called Latinos and Native Americans as well, in dire need, in destruction, man. But so what he's gonna do is get you to actually believe in him, and that's gonna cause the Lord to punish you more. And they know this because they've read your records. They read your own accounts of knowledge you used to know that they took from you and retaught it to you. And they've paid off people of your own nation to teach it to you falsely. And I'm going to get that, and Lord willing, that could be it. This is Jeremiah 17 and 5. The Lord doesn't like when you do this, man. It says, thus saith the Lord, Jeremiah 17 and 5, cursed be the man that trusted in man, and maketh flesh his arm, and whose heart departed from the Lord. See? For he shall be like the heat in the desert. What's in desert? Nothing. You're without. You're deserted. That's how it's going to be out here. It's going to be like a dang desert. And shall not see when good cometh, but shall inhabit the parched places in the wilderness, in a salt land, and not be inhabited. So this is literally what we're talking about, man. You're going to be casted out into the wilderness trying to trust on man. Trying to seek the ruler's favor. As it tells us in Proverbs, I believe that's 29 and C. 29 and 26. Many seek the ruler's favor. So whoever in charge is who everybody flock to. But every man's judgment cometh from the Lord. So this is why the Lord hates when people lose sight of what's really going on of him. Because he's directing this thing, man. You know, 1 Samuel 2, and I'm gonna start at 1. It says, and Hannah prayed and said, my heart rejoiceth in the Lord. My horn is exalted in the Lord. Right? My mouth is enlarged over my enemies, because I rejoice in thy salvation. Not how the so-called white man can save us. There is none holy as the Lord, for there is none besides thee. Neither is there any rock like our God. Talk no more exceedingly proudly. Let not arrogancy come out of your mouth. For the Lord is a God of knowledge, and by him actions are weighed. So he gonna give you what you've been putting out. It says, the vows of the mighty men are broken, and they that stumbled are girt with strength. Okay, let me jump down to the point. Verse 6, she says, the Lord killeth and maketh alive. He bringeth down to the grave and bringeth up. The Lord maketh poor and maketh rich. He bringeth low and lifteth up. He raiseth up the poor out of the dust. Not so-called white man with his moratoriums. It says, and lifted up the beggar from the dunghill. See? From the dunghill. So, here it is. The Lord calls all these situations and pull people out of situations, and you listening to what the so-called white man is talking, man. He's trying to promise you a check that still hasn't came because he's not in control. It says so with you being the people of the Lord, he's gonna actually keep punishing you, and you're gonna actually not get that check, and you're actually gonna be out and die of the famine. You know, it says, and to make them inherit the throne of glory. For the pillars of the earth are the Lord's, and he hath set the world upon them. So he will keep the feet of his saints, which are you so-called blacks, you so-called, including the so-called Latinos and Native American Indians. You know, the Israelites are the saints, and the wicked shall be silent in darkness, for by strength shall no man prevail. So you sitting around waiting for a check, you know, because they tell you that money is a defense. But strength, no man's going to prevail, because the Lord, you can't pay the Lord. You can't go buy salvation. You can't, I got 500, Lord, that's enough. That's going to be enough. No, that's not going to be enough. It's not even accepted. All right? Now, so with that being said, let me get my, some of my last scriptures. Lord willing, this quick watch has been edifying, man. So you Jake's gonna keep playing, man. The Lord, he gonna turn you over. You know, it says, Sirach 11:21. Marvel not at the works of the sinners, but trust in the Lord and abide in thy labor. For it is an easy thing in the sight of the Lord on the sudden to make a poor man rich. The blessing of the Lord is in the reward of the godly, and suddenly he maketh his blessing to flourish. Because you say, well, y'all ain't getting nothing. I need this check. I got it. Man, that Bible ain't shit. That shit ain't kicking. That's how Jake talk. Say not, what is the profit? What profit is there of my service? And what good thing shall I have hereafter? Again, say not, I have enough, and possess many things, and what evil can come to me hereafter. So you finally get that check. I'm back. They call you, Jake. Get proud. Call you. I got my job back, man. They say everything for turn back around. Yeah, and you got the you got the ones of your nation, and that's what some of you so-called blacks, do. You sit up here and you get proud against the ones who are actually right of your nation, and we gonna stay 10 toes down. So you call them, I got my job back, man. Yeah, I think you should leave that stuff alone. It says again, say not I have enough and possess many things. What evil can come to me hereafter? In the day of prosperity, so the Lord says, in the day of prosperity, as soon as a nigga gets something, there is a forgetfulness of affliction. You know what I'm saying? That's why you want to stay even killed, man. You can't be too high. You can't get too high. You can't get too low. It says, in the day of affliction, and in the day of affliction, there is no remembrance of prosperity. You know what I'm saying? So that's that. So when niggas come up, they forget about suffering. They forget about it's possible for them to go back down. They forget what it's like to be broke. Broke doesn't even exist anymore. It's impossible for that to happen. And then it says, in the day of affliction, there is no remembering of prosperity. You just suffer. That's all. You don't see hope, but the Lord is balanced. It's even. He's basically telling us to be even killed, man. Don't get it twisted, man. It says, for it is an easy thing unto the Lord in the day of death. And that's in the form of you being in affliction dying, or you being in prosperity dying. For it is an easy thing unto the Lord in the day of death, whatever dies, to reward a man according to his ways. So here it is. If we stay 10 toes down, we afflicted right now. When it's time for that to die, he's gonna reward us based off how we are in that day. You could probably curse the Lord in that day, give up in that day, and then he'd kill you horribly, leave your spirit in your body to just feel all that agony. Or in the day when you prospering and it's time for that to die, he probably would have just brought you down low, but you got real proud. You wasn't saving, you wasn't praying, you wasn't doing nothing. You was turning away people who need it. You know what I'm saying? And the poor of your own nation or whatever. That's not even wicked. That's not wicked, because you don't give to a sinner, but you was proud. So now he gonna take everything from you and put you on that same street. And that's why a lot of these people that's gonna face these evictions, you these same people, man. You these same people. You are these same people. You these same people, man. You trust in America, you trust in the so-called white man, you know what I'm saying? And that's gonna get you hurt, man. The Lord ain't no false judgment with the Lord. It's not, man. I think the Lord might have judged me wrong, man. Job 4:7. Remember, I pray thee, whoever perish being innocent, or where were the righteous cut off? So if you cut off from your home or whatever you need, you need to take the time and wonder if you were innocent. You know what I'm saying? Was that right? Were you actually right? Because it say, where were the righteous cut off? You know what I'm saying? It say, even as I have seen, they that plow iniquity and sow wickedness reap the same. So there you go, man. It ain't too much more to say, man. This is, I'm going to get this. I ain't going to get that because I have to prove that. But so-called white man, your enemy, man. Don't ever trust these people. You know off your own history. Look what he's done to us, man. He freed us and never gave us nothing. He signed the Declaration of Independence in 1776, July 4th, and the slaves, so-called Negroes, were still in slavery 86 more years. The July 4th so-called holiday was never for you, and it still isn't. And you're still not free. See? Sirach 12:10. Never trust thine enemy, for like as his iron rusted it, so is his wickedness. Though he humble himself and go crouching, yet take good heed and beware of him, and thou shalt be unto him as if thou had wiped a looking glass. So when you taking good heed, when you trying to really see see what's going on, you need to clear the mirror sometimes, man. You know what I'm saying? So when that's likened unto, so you paying attention to him or really watching him, seeing what he really on, what's really there, is likened unto you wipe clean in the mirror and you get to finally see what's really there, man. That's what he's saying. It says, and thou shalt know that his rust has not been altogether wiped away. The nigga's still a devil, man. He's still a slimy, slithering serpent, man. You know, set him not by thee, lest when he hath overthrown thee, he stand up in thy place. Neither let him sit at thy right hand, lest he seek to take thy seat. And thou at the last remember my words and be pricked therewith. So you're going to hear all this like, damn, he told me, man. You know what I'm saying? So poverty and prosperity comes of the Lord, destruction, etc., man. And the Lord is finna kill a lot of you so-called blacks, man, including you Latinos and Native American Indians, because you're not going to adhere to what the Lord was telling you. And like he said, at the end, you're going to recall all this, you know, the sense. Here's how you have a dream if you didn't even heard the words, you know, but more than likely you have. There's not going to be a cloak for anybody's sins. And at the end, you're going to be pricked therewith, man. Your conscience is going to eat you alive, you know. Shalakia. You know, I can just keep going, man. I can keep going. You know what? Let me get this, man. This is Jeremiah. Jeremiah 21. But I think the point, you know, is pretty much proven, man. You know, but I want to leave you with some instruction on how to fix it. Not just telling you how that all makes sense and how that adds up. All right, so this is Jeremiah 21, but how to get out of it. It says, Jeremiah 21:11, and touching the house of the king of Judah, say, hear ye the word of the Lord, O house of David. Thus saith the Lord, execute judgment in the morning. In the morning. To move how you supposed to move soon as you can. And deliver him that is spoiled out of the hand of the oppressor. Lest my fury go out like fire and burn, and that none can quench it. None. Not so-called white man's moratoriums, man. Because all that stuff is coming to him, these evictions, he said. So who gonna stop the Lord? It says, because of the evil of your doings. That's why all this happening. It says, behold, I am against thee, O inhabitant of the valley. What is a valley? A valley is a low place. So you so-called represents you so-called Israel, you so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native American Indians. That's why you're known as the Valley of Dry Bones. Not only are we lowly, but you dry as hell and dead. It says, in rock of the plain, saith the Lord, which say, who shall come down against us, or who shall enter into our habitations? But I will punish you according to the fruit of your doing, saith the Lord, and I will kindle a fire in the forest thereof, and it shall devour all things round about it. So the little you got is going to be taken away if you don't execute judgment as soon as you can. If you don't deliver him that is spoiled. Because you're supposed to be loving your brother as yourself. You know what I'm saying? Out of the hand of the oppressor. And that's why we're doing this, man. Because we are in the land of our oppression. This is where our famous history has happened. And we still here. Because we're still in captivity. Lest my fury go out like fire and burn, man. Alright? So that's pretty much it. There's something else I had thought of. But I think that's pretty much it. That's all you need to know. So the Lord, he's about to really do a number on you so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native American Indians, and the rest of these heathens, man. You know, it's about to get bad out here, man. That's what I want to get. Some heavy prophecy really quick. This is 2nd Esdras, you know, and our Lord willing, this could be it. The Lord said, when he shoot a bow, yeah, second Ezra 16:1. Woe be unto thee, Babylon and Asia. Woe be unto thee, Egypt and Syria. Gird up yourselves with clothes of sack and hair. Bewail your children, and be sorry, for your destruction is at hand. A sword is sitting upon you, and who may turn it back? A fire is among you, and who may quench it? Plagues are sent unto you, and what is he that may drive them away? May any man drive away a hungry lion in the wood, or may any one quench the fire in stubble when it had begun to burn? May one turn again the arrow that is shot of a strong archer? The mighty Lord sendeth the plagues, and who is he that can drive them away? A fire shall go forth from his wrath, and who is he that may quench it? So that's that, man. You know? Yeah, I think that's it. So Lord willing, this has been edifying, man. I'm gonna give all honor, praise, and glory to Yahweh Bashem Yahushua Hakodash Ka. Shalom.